Today I'm templating the back wall in this shower. It's an accent wall getting a waterfall glass scribe. As you can see here, I've got it laid out with my template, and I'm making sure that the center line that I've marked on the template is lining up with the edge. Here I'm marking out my niche layout with the marker. I'm going to switch out the blade on this little wet saw to the new Glassmaster from RTC. They've updated this blade and it's a night and day difference from the old version. It's really giving me a super clean cut on this mosaic that I'm using, and as you can see, there's really no chipping at all on this glass. I'm going to pre-mount this mosaic to some fabric and set it with Bostic's BAM. BAM is a fiber reinforced thinset with extended open time, and along with it being rated for all sorts of different tile, it's rated for glass as well. I typically have my HEPA vac hooked up to some ducts extraction while I'm mixing thinset, but being that I'm here in the garage and the door is open, I'm not really overly concerned with it today. I'm burning the thinset into the fabric, and then I will flip the trowel and trowel it out. And then after I've got the thinset troweled, I'm going to flip the trowel over again and knock the ridges down. And what this does is it avoids getting trowel lines that you can see through the glass. It'll give a nice solid substrate that is uniform in color. And then as I drop the mosaics, you'll notice that I am going to pat them down with a grout float, and this is a good opportunity to kind of make adjustments that I want. This is the second panel that I'm setting up now. This will extend over the top of the niche. You can see I'm still knocking the ridges down to maintain that uniform base. Now I'll grab my grout float again and I'm going to pat these down into the thinset. I'm also going to make some minor adjustments to make sure that everything's lined up and against that big metal straight edge. Now is the time to make sure that everything's on point. I got a little sloppy here with the thinset, so I'm going to clean that out. Now we're going to cut the panels off the fabric and lift them up. That Bostic BAM is fiber reinforced, so it gives it a much stronger base than some other thin sets would allow, but that's why I like using it. It's a rapid set, and I can do these big panels and not have them fall apart on me. I've got the waterfall laid out where I want, and now I'm going to trace it with my marker onto the field tile that surrounds it. I'm going to take this over to the Cyclone from IQ, and I've done these scribing accents with my grinder, but it's nice to have it on this kind of table saw setup, and you can see I'm really getting in with the blade to get those marks off entirely, and I'll take my dry pad on my grinder to polish the edges so that there's no chipping. Now you can see all the cuts dry laid and ready to get installed. I'm going to burn the thinset into the substrate, and I'm going to trowel it along the shortest direction possible to allow for the quickest air release behind the panel. This whole panel goes up in one shot, and then I want to try and stay as clean as possible and clean that thinset off around the edges so that it makes it easier to work around. You don't want to be too sloppy when you're setting these. Now the second panel will go up, and you can see it wraps the niche. And the same thing, you want to make sure everything's aligned, you're staying clean. I'm going to sink that last little piece in, and now I'm going to start setting the field tile around that I had already pre-cut and brought to the job site. After making some minor adjustments here, you can see that everything is all dry laid. And after I finish setting the tile on the rest of this wall to fill in, we'll see the finished product with the grout coming up now. I get a lot of questions about my process for doing these scribes, so I hope this was helpful, and I hope that y'all try it out in your own shop in your free time, and maybe try it out for a client.